Well, folks, today is the big day. The Nobel Peace Prize winner is being announced, and of course, it is not Donald Trump. Much to his chagrin, and in spite of all of the campaigning that he has done this year, and the year before, and the year before, and the year before, for receiving the Nobel Peace Prize, in spite of the fact that he has done absolutely nothing to warrant receiving a Nobel Peace Prize. And according to reports out this week from the Financial Times, the people on the committee, the ones who actually make the decision, they're laughing at Donald Trump, literally laughing at one, his alleged list of accomplishments, and two, how pathetic it is that he is constantly begging and whining and crying about never receiving a Nobel Peace Prize. Now, there is no reason on God's green earth why Donald Trump should receive a Nobel Peace Prize. He has not accomplished anything that would warrant this. And for any MAGA folks who may have stumbled upon this saying, well, he ended those 10 wars. No, he didn't. And what's funny about that is that that's literally something that those on the committee and those close to the committee spoke to the Financial Times mentioned. They actually talked about the fact that that lie may fly over here in the United States because foreign policy-wise, as a country, we're not that educated because we are so far removed. We don't see it, whatever. But over in the rest of the world, they know that that is not true, and they laugh at it. And I laugh at the fact that I was 100% right with how Donald Trump's progression was going to go. He first said 6, then it was 7, then he said 8, and then he skipped 9, went straight to 10. And he's going to keep going, claiming he ended all of these conflicts, including, Palestine and Israel. So the rest of the world, especially the Nobel Peace Prize Committee, understands that he hasn't ended anything. And if any of those conflicts do end, it's not because Donald Trump stepped in as the strongman to say, hey, you guys knock it off. I'm the Trumpster here. Same thing with Israel and Palestine. Donald Trump is not the one who is creating the peace. And if he does create peace, as we know from the leaked plans of his administration, it's so that they can ethnically cleanse the Gaza Strip so that Donald Trump can open up a luxury Middle East resort. That's his plan. They literally have that in writing. So if there is any so-called peace between the two countries, it's because Trump and Netanyahu got together to turn this into the, Riviera in the Middle East. So that's not exactly, something worthy of a Nobel Peace Prize. But I do love the fact the paper did talk to, some of the officials. The British newspaper quoted a European diplomat as saying that Trump's outlandish claims, such as his assertion that he has ended as many as 10 global conflicts, are not taken at face value across the pond. The official said, it has been hard to take some of his proclamations seriously. And then you had Nina Gregor, director of the Peace Research Institute in Oslo, believes that Trump is further hindering his chances by lobbying for the award with the help of his sycophants in Congress. She said, quote, putting pressure on the committee, going on talking about, I need the prize, I'm the worthy candidate, is not a very peaceful approach. Another one said, this is actually somebody from the Norwegian Nobel Committee, said, some candidates push for it really hard, and we do not like it. We are used to we are used to working in a locked room without being attempted to be influenced. It's hard enough as it is to reach an agreement among ourselves without having more people trying to influence us. And of course, they also talked about the fact that Donald Trump has whined to European leaders and NATO leaders about wanting that Nobel Peace Prize so bad he could taste it. But alas, it is not meant to be. Donald Trump, the biggest thing working against him is not that he's lying about ending all these international conflicts. The biggest thing working against him, according to the committee, is the fact that he has basically become a dictator in the United States. He is launching the military against our own people. They're doing all of these ICE raids and locking people in concentration camps, hoping they get eaten by alligators. Not exactly a good resume for somebody wanting to win the Peace Prize. So even if Donald Trump were to be the guy that finally makes peace between Israel and Palestine and it lasts, he has so much working against him that his name is basically not even under consideration. Donald Trump made one of the biggest mistakes he could have possibly made back in September. And it's a mistake that at the time a lot of people did speculate, this seems like it's a mistake. He didn't mean to do this publicly, but he did. And this week, White House officials confirmed to the Wall Street Journal that yes, Donald Trump's Truth Social post to Pam Bondi, where he instructed her to go after his political enemies, was in fact supposed to be a direct message to her, a private message. Trump thought he was sending a message to her, but unfortunately he sent it out to the entire world. And Pam Bondi was upset by this, not because Trump screwed up, but because he kind of humiliated her in front of the entire planet. And White House staffers, according to the report, were panicked because how can this dumbass be so dumb, right? Like, we knew this guy wasn't necessarily all there, but holy heck, this is a big one. And it really is, because this blows up any prosecution that Pam Bondi could possibly bring forth. Even if Pam Bondi actually found real reasons to prosecute some of Trump's enemies, you know, if they just happen to stumble upon a horrific crime committed by one of these people during their witch hunt, she's blown it, or he's blown it, I should say, because that post on Truth Social is going to be used in every single prosecution that Pam Bondi attempts to bring. Doesn't matter if it's a politician, doesn't matter if it's a Democratic donor, doesn't matter if it's a former ally that Trump now hates. All of them will go before a judge before the trial even begins and say, listen, it's obvious this is a politically charged, politically motivated prosecution. Look at the post on Truth Social that he didn't mean to send to the world. You got to drop the charges against me, Judge. And I guarantee you, most of the time, that'll happen. I mean, we're already watching in real time as this alleged prosecution of Comey falls apart before it even gets to trial. I mean, we're not even into the, real heart of the investigation yet. Not to mention the fact that the original prosecutor who said there's nothing to charge him with left, and they replaced him with Trump's insurance lawyer, Lindsay Halligan. And then 2 days later, she indicts Comey. Yeah, the whole thing stinks to high heaven. All of this does. And all of it is transparent because Donald Trump is stupid. But the other point I want to bring up about this is now that we do know this was in fact intended to be a private message to Pam Bondi, but Donald Trump effed up. If Biden had done that, there'd have been calls for the 25th Amendment, right? I mean, you'd even have people on the left saying this guy cannot be trusted with anything. He cannot do the job because he cannot be trusted, therefore, and he must be removed. But that talk of 25th Amendment, because this story's been out, for a day or so now, I haven't seen it anywhere. Where is anybody calling for 25th Amendment based on this massive mistake from Donald Trump? Because if he does it with this, who's to say he's not going to do it with classified information? We've already seen his administration do that with Pete Hegseth 3 times in different signal scandals. As recently as 2 weeks ago. It's not far-fetched to think that Dementia Donald is going to tweet out something that includes classified, sensitive, or, otherwise top secret information. He can't be trusted to send his own text messages. So how in the hell can we trust him with any government information? The answer is we cannot. And we should, we can't do it. It has to be Vance and the cabinet invoke the 25th Amendment because this man is not mentally fit to serve as president of the United States. And that is the point of this story. And so far, I have not seen a single person or a single outlet mention that fact. Republican Representative Lauren Boebert announced her re-election campaign this week in an email, and it was probably the most Lauren Boebert thing possible. And no, it wasn't, hey, vote for me and I'll take you to a private screening of Beetlejuice. It was, in fact, kicked off by asking readers of this new fundraising email for her re-election campaign, are aliens real? Are aliens real? Because we all know right now in the United States of America, with the economy tanking, with, armed military troops roaming our cities, a president clearly suffering from dementia, vaccines being taken away from us. Our biggest concern is still, where's the space aliens, right? I mean, you can't afford groceries, but I'm sure you're more concerned about, are there space aliens? So here's what Lauren Boebert's absolutely bonkers email said. For decades, our government has shrouded the truth about UFOs in a veil of secrecy. Strange crafts have been spotted soaring through our skies, defying the laws of physics. I'm going to stop right there. Lauren Boebert, tell me any law of physics. Any. Without looking it up, because obviously you can look. I want to know what Lauren Boebert thinks the laws of physics are. And I also want to know if she thinks people can be arrested for breaking the laws of physics. I think that's a good follow-up for any reporter. Because if you're going to say laws of physics, then you need to at least know some of them, right? You need to know what the word physics means. And yet the bureaucrats in Washington act like we're too naive to handle the facts. They tell us we're crazy. Yeah. They tell us we're crazy, like we can't see these things flying through the air with our own eyes. I say enough is enough. The American people aren't children to be spoon-fed half-truths or dismissed with vague excuses. We deserve to know what's really going on up there. So send me money for my re-election campaign, and by God, I'm going to go find the aliens. Take them to Beetlejuice and show them a good time, right? No, I'm sorry. I just can't help myself. Neither can she. So here's the thing. This is all a big distraction. Do you think those voters in that very conservative district in Colorado, that is not an exceptionally, wealthy community, do you think their biggest concern right now is their life out there? I mean, some of them, most of them maybe, probably do wonder that. I wonder that. I mean, look, the odds of planet Earth being the only planet throughout the entire universe that has life, that's just a statistical improbability, right? But I don't sit here all day, every day, wondering what kind of life is out there. If they're there, great. If they're not, I doubt it. But whatever. I'm more concerned, and American voters are more concerned about the fact that we're going to the grocery store paying almost double and getting less than we were a year ago. I'm more concerned about the fact that we have an economy that is shrinking, jobs being shredded across the nation, companies refusing to invest, human rights abuses taking place on a daily basis throughout this country. I'm more concerned about those things. I'm more concerned about American citizens losing their right to even exist because they identify as a different gender, because they have a different sexual preference, because they have a different skin color, because they talk with an accent, or because, in a lot of cases, they're just a woman. They're losing rights. I mean, everybody but straight, white, well-to-do men are not losing their rights. I'm more concerned about that than I am the space aliens, Lauren Boebert, and I guarantee you your constituents are too. They, obviously very conservative, may not be concerned about people losing their rights, but I promise you they're more concerned about the prices they're paying at the grocery store. They're more concerned about inflation. They're more concerned about corruption within this federal government, not the space aliens. Yeah, we'd all love answers to that. But I think the way the country's kind of going right now, we've all got bigger things on our plate to worry about. Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson is doing a phenomenal job, just not a phenomenal job at doing his job. He's doing a phenomenal job at preventing Congress from being able to do their jobs because he's refusing to swear in newly elected Democrat Adelita Grijalva. Of course, that would be the 218th signature needed to force the discharge petition to then force the floor vote on releasing the Epstein files. It is very obvious what Mike Johnson is doing, and at this point, Democrats and Republicans are starting to lose their patience and get pissed off. And so they are now warning not Mike Johnson, but Donald Trump that bad things related to Epstein and you are about to happen. And the longer this goes on, the longer it's delayed, the worse it's probably going to be. And let's not forget, these individuals that are issuing these threats, they have some documents that we have not seen yet that they got from the Epstein estate. And they've done a little bit of a slow trickle of the release, right? Like we got the birthday book. Then we got the info that Elon Musk and Steve Bannon were on his daily schedule at times. They have more. And the longer Mike Johnson drags this out, the more these Democrats and a couple of Republicans are going to slowly leak out to hurt this administration. But it's even worse than that, because according to Democratic Representative Eric Swalwell and, of course, Republican Representative Thomas Massie, there's about to be a, quote, jailbreak among the Republicans in the House where they just throw Donald Trump under the bus 100% with this. Here's what Swalwell put on social media this week. And it's important to remember also that we had the victims back in Washington, D.C. this week, and they did their press conference, but here's what Swalwell put on social media. It's coming to an end, guys. I've spoken to a lot of House Republicans this week, and they've confided that Trump's movement/support is fading. As one told me, quote, "This Epstein bomb is about to drop and no one wants to defend a pedo protector. It's just a matter of time." One Republican just texted me that if there's a discharge vote on Epstein, they expect a, quote, jailbreak of over 100 members. Trump will go nuts. Now, I have no reason to assume that Eric Swalwell is exaggerating or lying about this text message that he received or the comment from the other Republican. But if that happens, it is going to signify a massive break from the Republicans and the MAGA administration. And Trump will go nuts. He will absolutely go ballistic. But at this point, Republicans do need to understand that I hate to even give you advice. You know, Trump and Elon Musk and everybody, they've promised, like, we're going to primary you if you go against Trump. Not necessarily on Epstein, but on other things, but they'll do it for Epstein too. And they've got a lot of money to do it. And if there's only 4 or 5 of them, and there's only 4 right now, Massie, Green, Boebert, and Mace, they can primary all those people. They can fund tremendous campaigns. If there's 20, a little more difficult, but they could still do it. If there's 50, all right, then we got to start picking and choosing. If there's 100 Republicans, they don't have the cash to primary all of you. That would deplete all of Donald Trump's money. If there's more than 100, they're screwed. There is safety in numbers, House Republicans. And speaking of safety and numbers, your constituents, I mean, we see this in polling, they're not happy about the stonewalling of the release of the Epstein files. So in next year's midterms, where all of you in the House are up for re-election, those numbers you need, to win, they may not be there based solely on this issue. But if you vote to release the files, you don't have anything to run from. You don't have anything to defend with regard to that particular issue. You can focus on explaining to them why you passed the one big beautiful bill, and maybe you can convince them, lie to them enough to think it was a good thing, or maybe they hold you accountable for that anyway. Either way, you got a lot of stuff to try to defend that really is indefensible in next year's midterms. If I were you, I wouldn't add not releasing the Epstein files to that pile. And the only way to do that is to do this little revolt against Donald Trump. He'll hate you for it, but his hatred at this point literally means nothing. So please remember that. As everybody knows, Attorney General Pam Bondi was hauled in front of a Senate committee hearing this week where she was asked about Epstein. She was asked about the FBI investigation into Tom Homan that she destroyed. She was asked about immigration. She was asked about all sorts of things, like basically anything and everything. And of course, prosecuting Trump's enemies. Everything you could imagine, she was bombarded with. And for the record, not just by Democrats, too. You even had Republicans that were bashing the hell out of her. And virtually throughout this entire hearing, Pam Bondi never answered a real question dead on. She danced around them. She attacked people. And then she left. She left completely humiliated. And you would think that after leaving there and, the headlines come out, okay, a little bit of humiliation, but she gets to move on. But oh, no. Not this time. This time, the humiliation continues to live on. Because not long after she left that hearing and the headlines about what had happened died off, a new headline emerged. Because it turns out a reporter, a Reuters photographer by the name of Jonathan Ernst, who was present at the hearing, was able to snap a photo of Bondi's pre-written answers and comebacks that she brought into the Senate hearing. She didn't write them down as it was going. She had notes written on a folder, including, she also had some pictures of tweets sent out by some of the people, like Senator Sheldon Whitehouse. But she wrote out her own comebacks before even knowing what the people were going to say. She was so focused on insulting them that not a single bit of her prep involved explaining what she's doing at the DOJ, defending the actions of the administration, or even trying to answer the questions about it. Like nothing in her prep was about the day. Her prep was based 100% on trying to land some zingers against these senators. In fact, one of the things she had written down as one of her potential comebacks is, "You are a total hypocrite." She had to write that down. She had to write that down ahead of time because she couldn't remember it. I mean, that's not like it's a clever, pun or any. It's, "You are a total hypocrite." Oh, damn, I better write that down. Oh, boy. Yeah, you are a total hypocrite. Bye, I'm a genius. Wow. People wish they could be like me, Pam Bondi's thinking to herself as she's writing down, "You are a total hypocrite." This is the most pathetic thing I have ever seen, possibly in all of American politics. When you look at pathetic moments over the years, we have Marco Rubio struggling, "I'm thirsty given my State of the Union, give me water." You have Donald Trump not being able to drink water. You have Trump zigzagging down a red carpet or falling upstairs. You have George W. Bush's countless, word jumble vomit things that he would do. But I don't think I have ever seen a moment as pathetic as this photograph of Pam Bondi's notes. She was not going in there to answer questions. She was going in there with the goal of insulting people, and she couldn't even come up with good insults ahead of time. I mean, God, you could just Google best insults for people I don't like, and you're going to get things better than "You are a total hypocrite." Just absolute incompetence, even when it comes to insulting people. Things that you don't know you need to be competent for or to do, and she can't even do that. I mean, my God, I'm not saying I want her to be able to go out there and give people a great zinger that just knocks them on their butt. But come on, if you're going to suck at everything else with the job, at least be good at making fun of people. But this attorney general is so dim-witted and incompetent that she can't even do that.